Okay, gang, howdy. Starting out week 4, module 4, and we are continuing our voyage to our first speech, the TED speech. So now we have thought about delivery, and we've analyzed some delivery, and the next step is to be reading this chapter 3 on nonverbals. So delivery has to do with sort of the sounds, the volume, the pitch, the pacing. I've made a lot of these kinds of comments on those intro videos. Again, just mostly to like a little heads up. Try to get you thinking early on about tendencies or stuff you might not have noticed. So obviously keep in mind all the delivery stuff, and then now we're thinking about the non-verbal delivery stuff, right? So the chapter covers things like eye contact, gestures, movement, appearance. Now, all of that stuff I think applies very nicely to, standing up in front of a group or a room or whatever. And, you have these physical people in front of you. And so it does make sense to look. What I like to do when I'm talking in front of folks, especially teaching, is like kind of walk around and visit this side of the room and sort of say hi to these people and then go to the other side of the room so they don't feel like I'm favoring them, and kind of like focus on them a little bit more. And I try to look at every person at some point, even if they're not looking at me. I try to like establish a bit of a connection if I can. I'm constantly like scanning and roaming to see how folks are doing, and I find that like if you're able to try to individually connect with the people in the audience, the overall kind of dynamic is improved by that. And so it's, I think, a little challenging and a little weird for us to be thinking about nonverbal stuff when we're just recording, right? And so I'm sitting in my office chair right now. Obviously I'm doing this. I'm a pretty gesturing type speaker, and so you kind of got to be thinking about how the nonverbal stuff is going to be coming across in this recorded, mediated fashion, because I can't be making eye contact with everyone in the room. I'm just trying to look at the camera, right? And so that part of it doesn't make a ton of sense. Obviously, movement. I'm not going to be asking folks to like move around when you're recording yourself. So there's a lot more kind of limitations here. But, if you're in a classroom or if you're in an audience situation or on some stage or whatever, you want to be thinking about the people in front of you. And you want, I think, to as much as possible to organically try to nurture that space in terms of connection, right? Like you're not just staring at your pages and speaking. That's death, right? For your success. That's just like they're checking out. So you don't want to read. You also don't want to memorize your speeches, because then you're kind of reading internally, and you can tell when someone's reading internally. They're trying to remember, and they're kind of not really present, right? And so the goal is to kind of memorize, like to have your structure ready, keywords, key phrases, and then try to operate in as kind of casual and natural a fashion as possible. At least that's my own bias. I don't like overcooked, stuffy, try-hardy, performative kinds of demeanors, right? I like to know who you are. I like your natural kind of style. If you're a little more modest, if you're a little bit more quiet, whatever. Like, you don't have to fake being something else. Or if you're a little bit more boisterous and energetic, you don't have to try to tone that down. You want to kind of keep within the bounds of propriety, of what makes good sense and so on, but work with your own strengths. Obviously, try to minimize your weaknesses or build on your weaknesses. But, what are your strengths? When your people give you compliments, are you funny, or are you clever, or are you just really have a warm presence? Maybe you have a kind of cold, chilly presence and a kind of withdrawn thing. Well, how can you turn that into a virtue, a positive, right? And these are the kinds of things that we want to be thinking about for ourselves, because everyone has their own like voice style, so on, right? So anyway, that's just some stuff on delivery and non-delivery. So you're going to be working on that this week, and you're going to be you're going to be rehearsing the speech and getting ready for the actual delivery / recording of the speech, all right? So do again, as always, look through the links for this week, and we have another quiz. So read the chapter, take the quiz, do the preparatory work in terms of your rehearsing, and there was one other thing I thought. I think that's it. I obviously now have some grading to do in terms of the first two parts of the TED stuff and the nonverbal delivery document. Anyway, there's 2 assignments that I'm going to get to pretty soon here, so be looking for that. Otherwise, just keep at the materials. Make sure you're reading the chapter. You're thinking about things. You're thinking about your speech. You're getting ready. And we're going at a nice pace here. So I'm feeling, you shouldn't be panicking. Just as long as you're kind of moving with the general flow of things, then you should be in good shape. All right? So, crazy Super Bowl game yesterday. I don't know if anyone watched it or cared too much, but I haven't been following football, but I thought the game was pretty wild and exciting. So, anyway, I hope everyone's well. The wind has finally died down. Let's enjoy ourselves this week, do some learning, get ready to give these speeches, and I'm here if you wanted to talk. Otherwise, have a good one. All right, peace.